In leading up to graphing quadratics, we're now going to be looking at finding the zeros and the intercepts of a given quadratic function. So essentially what that amounts to is that to find the zeros of the function, and that is the x-intercept, or those are the x-intercepts, because it's when the function equals 0. Well, the function equals 0, the y value equals 0 when the function equals 0, and that's when it crosses the x-axis, which is the x-intercept. So our first step is to find the zeros of the function. We set the function equal to 0. F of x equals 0. So 2x squared minus 7x plus 5 equals 0. And so we want to know, will this factor? And if we use trial and error, it will factor. We know that since it's being added, let's go ahead and write this down as two binomials. Again, similar to how we've been doing everything this entire section. We know that, first off, since 2 is a prime number, the only two possibilities for the leading terms in our binomials are 2x and x. And then we also know that since this 5 is being added and the 7x is being subtracted, the only way we can get a product that's positive and a sum that's negative is if both of these are minus. And then it's just a matter of, does the 5 go with the 2x and the 1 go with x, or vice versa? In using trial and error for determining which that is, we would find that the 5 does go with the 2x, and then the 1 goes with the x. 2x squared minus 1, or 2x squared, sorry, 2x times x is 2x squared, minus 2x minus 5x is going to be minus 7x, and then negative 5 times negative 1 is going to be the positive 5. So this is what the factored form. Then using the zero product property, 2x minus 5 equals 0, or x minus 1 equals 0. Solving for x with these, we end up getting x equals 5 halves, or x equals 1. So our x-intercepts are going to be 5 halves 0 and 1 0. Those are going to be our two x-intercepts, because that's where, when x equals that value, the function equals 0. And that is what an x-intercept is. Now, to find the y-intercepts, we take the function 2x squared minus 7x plus 5, and that's going to be, we want to know, when is that function, what does it equal when x equals 0, because that's going to be where the curve crosses the y-axis, is when x equals 0. So we substitute x equals 0 into our function. We get 2 times 0 squared minus 7 times 0 plus 5. And that equals 0 minus 0 plus 5, which equals 5. So our y-intercept is 5, or, in other words, the point 0, 5. 0 is our x value. That's where it crosses the y-axis. And when x equals 0, y equals 5. Our function equals 5. So the zeros of the function are x equals 5 halves, or x equals 1. That leads to the x-intercepts of 5 halves 0 and 1 0. And then to find the y-intercepts, we substitute x equals 0 and simplify. And then our y-intercept is going to be 0, and then whatever we determined the value of the function is when x equals 0, in this case 5. 0, 5.